the chances of you copying somebody else and getting there is very close to zero. In the same way, there is a huge difference between being good at living healthy and knowing how to live healthy. And you're telling me now you're running a business, you're having a family, you're going to do the same and you're just gonna make it? You're probably not. And yes, that's right. I'm not saying you don't know and you can't remember, but you can't remember long enough. And I can prove it to you if you stick with me and if you just follow what I say. Welcome to the third episode of the Limitless Body And Mind podcast. This is just the start, and I appreciate every single one of you who is listening right now and supporting this journey. I've already received a lot of subscribers and messages, and I thank you guys. I really appreciate it. The purpose of today's episode is to tell you what not to do. There is something very important that you need to grasp and understand right now if you don't want to waste your time at all. If you don't want to waste years of your time, make costly mistakes, and just you definitely want to avoid that. So here is where I'm coming from. When people come to me, I ask them questions, and the questions I ask are about their past. What is the situation, what have they tried before, what worked, what didn't work. And I tend to know, pretty well where people fail, what is the biggest problem in the world, and including yourself right now. Most probably, if you're listening right now, you're stuck in that phase where you do know a lot of stuff, you do know how to train and how to eat healthy, but for some reason you're not there yet. For some reason, you're just not losing weight. And in this season, I focus primarily on helping you lose weight. If you're an executive or entrepreneur, in this season, I will take you through the journey of losing weight. But I'll take you in a very special way. So the paradox of my message today is that I want to tell you to stop listening to advice and trying to do things on your own, but listen to my advice and do things on your own, listening to my advice and listening to this podcast. So back to where people come to me and they start sharing stories. For example, Josh comes to me, and hypothetical Josh comes to me and says he've tried keto, he've tried somebody called Vishred, he tried other programs, and he achieved some good results in the past. He had a great success with some of the diets and the plans that he had, and dropped a lot of weight very fast as well. So now he just wants to get back on the horse. But this time he wants to make it so it lasts. He already understands that there's something different that needs to be done. You see, there is a huge variety of opportunities out there in terms of coaches to work with, trainers, diets, training plans, free apps, YouTube videos. There's no doubt that the right information is out there. There's no doubt also that a lot of these advices, a lot of these types of information and sources are legit, and a lot of them will work. A lot of them are great. There is an amazing amount of information on the internet. But the problem comes when you start applying this information into your life. There is a huge difference between understanding how, for example, understanding how to drive a car, maybe having a license, and actually being a good driver. In the same way, there is a huge difference between being good at living healthy and knowing how to live healthy. There's a massive gap in there, right? Most of you know. Most of you are either semi-know or know. Most people are not stuck in the phase where they don't know. A lot of you are not stuck because you don't have certain information. You're just stuck because you can't apply it in the right way so it sticks. And that's where I step in. That's why my profession exists as coaching. Teaching people how to apply some habits, how to change their behavior and themselves one step at a time. And you need to start doing the same. And the biggest mistake that you can do is look at this podcast, listen it, and search for the magic key, for the magic diet that you've been missing. Search for the magic training plan, the whatever it is. Or going out there and searching in other places, you get even more lost. I did that mistake when I started my dedication. If you listen to my previous podcast, I shared that I've dedicated my life from the point of almost zero, where I had no knowledge. The first source of knowledge, information for me, was YouTube. And I vacuumed the whole shit up out of YouTube. I really sucked it all up, and it led me to believe things which then turned to be false. A lot of them. I thought I'm very smart. I knew a lot of interesting science and facts. But when it came to applying it to my life, I ended up being emotionally and physically burned out, plateauing with my progress, and I barely made it through. It took me a few years to really start understanding what am I doing wrong, and I poured my soul into this, like my heart, my soul, my sweat, my tears. I gave everything that I had to transform, to learn these things. I literally dedicated my life. There was nothing else I was interested in. I wasn't going out. I was stuck in home and studying, applying, training, and just doing everything that I was seeing as the right information and trying to implement it into my life. And it was failing all the time. And you're telling me now you're running a business, you're having a family, you're going to do the same and you're just going to make it? You're probably not. If you don't take the approach that I'm telling you right now, you're probably going to fail. And I'm not saying I'm much smarter than you. I'm just being super realistic. This journey is very long and it's very hard. One of the biggest mistakes you can do is underestimate it. You should be prepared to go to war with yourself. It's going to last for a long time. It's not going to end for 2-3 months. It's not going to end for 1 year. You will have to grow and change in ways that you've never done before. And you only know how much it's going to take once you go through it. You've never gone through this journey before. If you've lost some weight and you gain it all back, you don't know what it's going to take really to change. So you need to be prepared. And with this podcast, I want to teach you, and I will help you in any way possible, how to start applying the knowledge that we have, which I will also share with you, as I should, but I will help you apply it to life one habit at a time. And we'll focus on something that I call the lowest hanging fruits. And we'll have an order. It is super important that we have an order of things, which is pretty much a system, a structured system that we follow strategically. It's very tactical, and I will teach you how to think tactically, how to be very strategic with your approach to changing yourself on what you need to focus on, and we'll start focusing on one thing at a time. Another huge mistake is trying to be perfect right from the start. There's a lot of these kind of mistakes that you can do. And I know now it probably sounds like it's a lot, then how the hell are you going to do it just by listening to the podcast? And that's a good point, and that's why I have prepared something for you. I've shared in the first episode that we have a program fit in 4 weeks. This program is designed for that. It's going to give you the right approach. It's going to teach you how to pick what is the lowest hanging fruit for you in any area, in sleep, in nutrition, in training, but it's also going to track your progress. Another huge mistake that you might do, and I expect that a lot of you who listen right now will do that mistake anyway. People do it, they come to me and they pay me, and they work with me, and they keep doing that mistake, and I'm just impressed by how people don't see, what is it that in them that really stops them see that this is a massive mistake. The mistake is not tracking your progress, like, and I mean periodically, systematically. If you don't track your progress like week to week, then how the hell are you going to get there? Life is turbulent. Life is dynamic. Things happen in your life. If you think your life is a stationary, some experience that you can predict what's going to happen in every corner ahead of you, you're lying to yourself. You're fooling yourself. Life is very challenging. It's demanding a lot of focus and adaptation. You need to be constantly changing things. And if you're going to change yourself and you're aiming for a specific type of goal, health and fitness goal, like you're losing a lot of weight and having a specific type of body, you need to be constantly going in that direction, because what you can end up doing is just changing the direction all the time for so many reasons. For example, you can decide to be changing the diets, or if you're not tracking the progress, you might not see when you have to adjust your diet, when you have to adjust your training plan. And I know what you're gonna say. I know when I lose 5 pounds, I know how it feels. I can feel it in my clothes. And yes, that's right. I'm not saying you don't know and you can't remember, but you can't remember long enough. And I can prove it to you if you stick with me and if you just follow what I say. That journey is very long. You need to be remembering the reps that you're doing in the gym, every single exercise, or at least the main ones, and knowing if you're progressing or not. You need to be remembering what's your weight last week. You need to be monitoring for patterns in your behavior and plateaus and fluctuations in your weight, in the way your body looks as well. How is it changing? You need to be monitoring this frequently. And if you're not monitoring, then what's going to happen? Let's say you set your diet today, and in a few days something happens. You make a slight adjustment by memory, and then you continue and you continue making progress, and then something else happens. As I said, the life is very dynamic. Then you make another adjustment. Before you know it, you will forget where you started from, and you will not be even able to compare yourself to from right now to where you started from. You will be completely have lost track. And in these moments when you're trying to just emotionally and by memory adjust your plan and make adjustments and adapt, you will end up losing a hell of a lot of time. This is like taking a ship and just sailing without the advanced equipment. I'm not a sailor, but I can imagine that takes a hell of a lot of skill. It won't be easy to just follow the stars and leave from Varna and end up in Miami. That would be fucking insane. And that's what you need to do. If you want to get there, you need to be adjusting the course periodically, frequently, very frequently. Once a week is very good. Once a week is what I do with my clients. And sometimes you do it a little bit more intense. Sometimes you need to look at the change during a three days period and then make a little adjustment if you want to really save yourself a lot of time, if you want to avoid making mistakes. So you need to understand that it takes a huge process of adaptation in change. It takes a lot of effort, dedication, consistency. You need to be changing one habit at a time. If you try to change too many habits at the same time, it's not going to work. And you need to be tracking your progress and to making adjustments. And with all that comes another bulk of challenges. So you're ahead of something massive, and I want you to be ready for that. I'm not trying to scare you right now. You need to accept that this is not going to be easy if you want to make it. If you think it's going to be easy, you already failed. You're gonna quit tomorrow, or in a month, or 2 months, or 3 months. It's gonna get really hard. You need to know exactly what you're doing. You need to be able to compare yourself with the past. Self-encourage yourself by just looking at your progress and say, okay, that feels really hard, but looking backwards, I'm actually doing pretty well. And that's exactly how I encourage a lot of my clients when they get discouraged. I just pull a few photos. Look, I know it feels like shit. Your performance is down, your energy is down right now, but look how far you've come. And they're like, wow. And that's what's going to happen with you. But it's not going to happen if you don't track your progress. So the Fit in 4 Weeks program will provide you with the app, strategically place tasks every single day. Following this podcast and the program together, it's a massive, 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 massive thing. Nothing else out there like this. It's going to teach you how to change, and it's going to guide you and give you the tasks that will allow you to really change. And we're talking about specific guidance. Everybody has a different type of culture in the family, in the workspace, different job, different schedule, different challenges with their health, different diet preferences, different geographical location, which also presents different challenges. And that's why we need this guidance that I'm giving you right now. So you know what applies to you. Just because some famous influencer on YouTube is sharing their diet and he shares how he got there, doesn't mean that you will apply this and it's going to fit in your lifestyle and it's just you're gonna change just like he did. The chances are you're not. There is infinite number of different people and different ways to achieve one's goals. The chances of you copying somebody else and getting there, it's very close to zero. It's much closer to zero than it would ever be to like even 20%. It's very close. So follow through the podcast. That's my message. Don't look for magic pills, but understand we're strategic. We'll apply things in a very systematic way, and that's how we're achieving the results. I hope you get it. If you have any questions or any suggestions, you're free to comment or just send me a message, send me an email. You can find me on any social media channel, and I'm happy to give you more advice. Ideally, just download the app in 4 weeks. In the app, you also have forums, which I will open very shortly, and we can communicate in there as well, so you have my support. It doesn't get any better than that. And in next episode, I will be discussing how to identify the lowest hanging fruits, what they might be, and so we can start properly with this journey and stop the talking and start the doing. So that's it. Thanks for your time and see you next time.